Hey guys, I want to take a minute to explain to you the difference between the ICJ and the ICC. The ICJ, which is involved in the South Africa case against Israel for genocide, is not a criminal court. It does not have a prosecutor. It is a part of the United Nations, and all its judgments are subject to the United Nations, whether they want to put them into effect or not. Basically, any judgment coming out of that court of the ICJ is subject to the United Nations decisions of whether they want to take effect or not. Okay, so now we are going to the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court. Okay, the difference between the ICJ and the ICC is that the ICJ does not have any power to arrest, convict, try, prosecute war criminals for war crimes or crimes against humanity. They don't do that. The ICJ is for countries to sue other countries. So you're not going to see any arrests coming out of that court. The International Criminal Court, which is the ICC, is a court that takes care of individuals. So we are at their website, and I'm going to explain how the court works. Okay? The court's founding treaty, called the Rome Statute, grants the ICC jurisdiction over 4 main crimes. First, the crime of genocide. You can read more about what that means on their website. Second, the ICC can prosecute crimes against humanity, which are serious violations committed as a part of a large-scale attack against any civilian population. The 15 forms of crimes against humanity listed in the Rome Statute include offenses such as murder, rape, imprisonment, and forced disappearances, enslavement, particularly of women and children, sexual slavery, torture, apartheid, and deportation. Third, war crimes are grave breaches of the Geneva Conventions in the context of armed conflict and include, for instance, the use of child soldiers, the killing or torture of persons such as civilians or prisoners of war. Intentionally directing attacks against hospitals, sound familiar? Historic monuments or buildings dedicated to religion, education, art, science, or charitable purposes. Well, we've seen all these attacks done by Israel. Finally, the 4th crime falling with the ICC's jurisdiction is the crime of aggression. It is the use of armed force by a state against the sovereignty, integrity, or independence of another state. The definition of this crime was adopted through amending the Rome Statute at the First Review Conference of the State of Kampala, Uganda in 2010. So in the context of Israel and Palestine, we were talking about the expansion of settlements and settler violence. We were talking about the occupation. So this would be crimes of aggression. There's a lot going on in Palestine. We need to make sure that we understand legally which each crime is. If you want to read more about the Rome Statute and elements of crimes, you can find that on their website. Okay. Preliminary examinations. The Office of the Prosecutor must determine whether there is sufficient evidence of crimes of sufficient gravity falling within the ICC's jurisdiction, whether there are genuine national proceedings, and whether opening an investigation would serve the interests of justice and the victims. If the requirements are not met for initiating an investigation, or if the situation or crimes are not under ICC's jurisdiction, the ICC prosecution cannot investigate. Okay, well, they have decided to open an investigation. So, the situation in Palestine has passed that test. Investigations. After gathering evidence and identifying a suspect, the prosecution requests ICC judges to issue, number 1, an arrest warrant. The ICC relies on countries to make arrests and transfer suspects to the ICC. Or, number 2, a summons to appear. Suspects appear voluntarily. If not, an arrest warrant may be issued. The Office of the Prosecutor, which is called the OTP, conducts preliminary examinations, investigations, and prosecutions. The Office of the Prosecutor is an independent organ of the court. It is responsible for examining situations under the jurisdiction of the court where genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and aggression appear to have been committed, and carrying out investigations and prosecutions against the individuals who are allegedly most responsible for those crimes. And just to clarify, the prosecutor has already stated that there is an investigation into the crimes happening into Palestine. So we can confirm that there is an investigation underway. The OPT link, where we are submitting evidence, goes directly to the Office of the Prosecutor to help with the investigation.